The night came quietly, and then it shattered. The night came quietly, and then it shattered. A place of prayer, a sanctuary built for peace, became a scene of horror. The sounds that filled the air were not those of quiet devotion. They were the sounds of breaking glass, the sounds of screams, the sounds of chaos erupting where tranquility was supposed to reign. In a single brutal moment, the city went silent in a new and terrifying way. People spoke in whispers, their eyes wide with disbelief and a fear that was suddenly, shockingly real. A place of peace had been violated. A community had been wounded. The initial reports came in fragments, each piece adding another layer to the growing sense of dread. Eyewitnesses, their voices trembling, spoke of a sudden intrusion. They described figures moving in the darkness, a rapid escalation from confusion to outright terror. Shots were fired. People ran for their lives, spilling out into the cold night air. The sacred routine of evening prayer was replaced by the piercing wail of sirens and the frantic flashing of red and blue lights. The nation watched, its collective breath held in a state of shared shock, anger, profound sorrow. Within 10 minutes, the scene outside the mosque transformed. The flashing lights of police cruisers, ambulances cut through the darkness, casting long, dancing shadows. Neighbors, drawn from their homes, gathered in small, stunned groups, wrapping arms around each other for support. A news helicopter began to circle overhead, its spotlight sweeping across the taped-off perimeter. The glow of countless cell phones illuminated faces etched with worry and disbelief as officers secured the area and spoke gently but firmly with witnesses. Over the next hour, a clearer picture of the attack began to emerge, though still shrouded in confusion. The assault was brutally efficient. It was fast. The attackers, their identities still unknown, had used a vehicle to block a key exit, a calculated move to sow maximum panic. They entered the mosque with terrifying speed, giving little time to react or escape. Law enforcement would confirm the violent episode lasted only minutes, but for those who lived through it, it felt like an eternity. By the next morning, the city awoke to the full scope of the tragedy. Local and national news crews trained their cameras on the aftermath. Scattered rugs, abandoned shoes, jagged panes. Reporters interviewed survivors and community members, their faces a mixture of grief and defiance. Who would do this? Why here? Why us? Police released a methodical, chilling timeline, confirmed one person in custody, and urged the public not to spread rumors. But shaky, dark videos began circulating online. Every frame scrutinized, every shout debated, fueling speculation. The mosque is an unassuming structure of brick and glass, but to its community, far more than a building. A second home, daily prayers, weddings, children's study circles, shared meals, shared lives. The attack did not just damage walls and windows, it struck the heart of a community, a haven violated. By morning, the imam stood before cameras, exhausted but steady. He thanked first responders and neighbors who rushed to help. He called for peace, urging his community not to answer hate with more hate. As the investigation progressed, a name emerged from the shadows. Police identified a suspect, a life marked by isolation and escalating anger. Online activity revealed engagement with extremist ideologies and hateful rhetoric. Acquaintances recalled volatility. Some remembered public confrontations. Others said he seemed lost. His family remained silent. He was formally charged. The case began its slow journey through the courts. Yet questions lingered over the arrest. Was this a lone, disturbed individual or part of a larger network? Investigators combed his digital life. Emails, texts, searches for co-conspirators, outside influence, signs of radicalization. The public reaction was immediate: grief and solidarity. Leaders from every faith offered support. Churches, synagogues, bouquets piled at the mosque entrance. Civic groups organized vigils. Hundreds gathered, faces lit by candles, whiteboards filled with messages: love, support, defiance. City council condemned the attack. The governor urged protection for all communities. Yet a deep, persistent fear took root. The attack shattered a sense of security. Parents kept children home. The prayer hall felt unfamiliar. Leaders met on new security measures and spoke of resilience and love. Every unfamiliar car felt like a threat. Every late-night sound set nerves on edge. The mosque rebuilt with new locks, lighting, and cameras. Invisible scars remained. Neighborhood watch patrols, emergency training, evacuation plans, open and welcoming, but safer. Online, the reaction was instantaneous and explosive. Hashtags trended, a global conversation. Digital space, grief, anger, analysis. Many shared credible news, seeking facts. Others shared pain and solidarity. Thousands asked, was this a hate crime? Misinformation and conspiracy theories muddied waters and sowed division. Platforms scrambled. New posts surged. The mosque posted a quiet plea for prayers and patience. The investigation proceeded with painstaking care, far from online noise. Detectives spent hours on security footage, businesses and nearby homes, hunting for missed details. They conducted dozens of interviews, witnesses, the suspect's family, friends, co-workers, building a picture, searching for the why. Meticulous forensic work. Photographs, fingerprints, DNA swabs, shell casings, each item bagged and sent to the lab. Slow, scientific steps that yield undeniable truths. Given a house of worship was targeted, it was probed as possible domestic terrorism with federal partners. Searches uncovered messages filled with vitriolic hatred toward the mosque community. Images appeared to glorify violence against minority groups. These discoveries shifted the investigation's focus. The legal definition of a hate crime moved to the center. Evidence accumulated steadily, a mosaic of hatred and premeditation. Digital trails showed a descent into an echo chamber where prejudice was reinforced and anger stoked. Prosecutors faced the challenge of linking online life to real-world violence, dot by dot. The search for truth was a search for justice, watched by a community with bated breath. Evidence suggested this was not random violence, but a targeted attack motivated by deep prejudice. Whether he acted alone remained crucial to the threat itself. The attack forced the city, and the nation, to confront difficult, uncomfortable questions. Why does this kind of hate keep growing? How do we stop it before it turns to violence? Leaders called for new laws, tougher penalties, better tracking of domestic extremist groups, but laws weren't enough. Civic leaders urged investment in education and outreach, empathy to counter hate. Teachers navigated hard conversations. Respect, tolerance, the dangers of prejudice, spaces for young people to ask, and to fear, safely. A renewed push for interfaith dialogue and joint events, potlucks, town halls, shared projects, a call for long-term systemic change, not a short-term fix. Media coverage informed and sometimes sensationalized. Experts parsed hate crime law and extremism. Families pleaded for privacy. Sacred spaces are not immune. Communities of all faiths felt the chill. A national reckoning. Are we protecting houses of worship and challenging hateful rhetoric? Enough. These are not easy questions. The search for answers continues. Today the mosque stands with new scars, the broken windows replaced, the rugs cleaned. Yet the memory of that night is woven into the building and its people. For many, the wound may never fully heal. A reminder of vulnerability. Yet something remarkable followed. A neighbor left a home-cooked meal. A child taped a heart to the front door. A teacher organized a project on kindness. These small gestures mattered, a counter-narrative to hate. They reminded the city of its better self. Quiet, resilient bonds. We must ask, how do we build a society where hate cannot take root? How do we reach the lost before violence? How do we help victims heal? How do we remain safe and welcoming, secure and open? The attack shocked a city and a nation. It made us see our neighbors and ourselves anew. Answers will require honesty, courage, and sustained commitment to a more just, compassionate society. The path is long, and we must walk it together. In the end, This story is about people, grief met by courage, and a simple, powerful message. Not in our city, not in our name.